Hello and welcome to Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you on your journey to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. This is your host, Beck Milonis, High Priestess, Channel, and Activator. Join me on this series as I share reflections, insights, and channel transmissions from my journey of walking the initiation path. Each episode is a unique transmission containing supportive frequencies to facilitate the deepest healing, activation, and reconnection with your soul. I invite you to open your mind and set the intention to receive this episode into your heart space. Let's go. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you to become a vessel of unconditional love. I actually just started recording this intro and I was like, this is not it. This is not it. So I had to drop in, recalibrate myself and come back. So I may do a lot of this with my eyes closed today because I'm feeling it's more of an energetic transmission than the words that are wanting to come through. So as I was saying on my previous version of recording, which you won't hear because I'm not going to include it because I fucked it, I want to apologize in advance for the less than ideal recording scenario. If you're watching video, it's not going to be as clear as normal. The lighting may go in and out. It's just I'm working with the situation that I'm in and just here to show up, right? Messy, imperfect action is what we are all here to bring into the world. And this is more of a transmission for you than, looking at my face. So I actually invite everyone listening to this, feels so much juicier this time around, to close your eyes with me in this session. Unless you're driving, don't fucking do not close your eyes if you are driving. Bad idea. But if you are in a space where you can close your eyes, absolutely do that. You can look at my face if you really want to, but I invite you to feel the body for this one, right? Because what we're going into, I'm laughing at myself because of how much this is flowing compared to when I was just doing it a second ago. So there we go. When you drop in, it reveals itself. When you trust the flow and let the flow to show you instead of trying to force it, it happens organically. So today's transmission, I want to say, less than a podcast episode or watching me throw my hands about on a screen to shitty lighting, is a transmission. And you are here. You are called to this episode. I have encoded this space and this episode and very tactically called you forward because you are ready for more, right? You're ready for more. You do not arrive at this space receiving this transmission until you have something in you that is like, enough is enough. I am ready to move beyond the reality that I have been experiencing, the level I've been experiencing, the experience of life I have been experiencing, right? In whatever avenue of your life that may be. We are moving into, it's not quite yet, and everyone will tell you the year of the horse is now, but it's actually technically Chinese astrology says that it starts February, right after my birthday, guys. So we have a fucking eclipse and it's 2 days before my birthday, an eclipse and the new year starts, the energetic new year starts 2 days before my birthday. This is my year, right? But it's going to be a very big year. And you've probably heard this from other people, so I'm not going to harp on about the astrology, but it's going to be a very big year energetically, I'm feeling, for a lot of us to bring things into the physical manifestation, right? It's a lot about foundations, new beginnings, new chapters, new levels, new experiences of life, and about things moving very fast, okay? So I'm inviting you in this episode to set the stage to release all the templates of survival and scarcity and lack and struggle and difficulty that you may have been experiencing and holding on to, which is encoded cellularly, right? This is not just for your mind that we're doing this today, because a lot of lack actually does live in the mind. It lives in the identities, the stories, the ways that you are perceiving, like your reticular, what's it called? Relay system. Sorry, not your reticular. I don't know where the reticular word came from. Your relay system, right? What you're perceiving. We're perceiving lack. But the reality of who you are is an infinite soul, right? An infinite being of love. The reality of the universe is infinite. There actually is no lack. So, what happens for many of us is that we are encoded. And this is the point where I really would invite you to close your eyes, because I'm going to do that now as well, just to channel this through more clearly. We are encoded with lack, right? And it is implanted into our DNA through history, through our ancestral lineage. It is literally encoded into our DNA through repetition, right? Who we are is a result of what our cells are doing. On the most base level, we are playing out biology, okay? We are replicating a pattern. We are replicating an identity. We are replicating a reality of everything that we have inherited. So lack is actually inherited. It is not innate. We inherit lack, particularly from, if you're a woman listening to this, I know a lot of you are women, not all of you are, so I'm going to speak to the men too. A lot of women are encoded with lack, going way, 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 way back down our lineage, because the women in our line were taught to brace. We were taught to settle. We were taught to be in scarcity, to be in survival, right? We were taught that if we stepped away from the driving wheel for one fucking second, we would be dropped. We would go hungry. We would be ravaged. We would be taken over. We've lived through thousands of years of wars, of, the word that I'm looking for is not coming. Spirit, give me the word. Famine, right? Conditioning from society that causes us to contract, to hold on for dear fucking life, because we don't know when the next paycheck is coming. We don't know where we're going to find the next meal. We don't know if that person that we're with is going to go off to a war and never fucking come back. And we're going to be left fending for ourselves. This is so deeply encoded in our DNA. Add to that thousands of years of conditioning from society telling us who and what and how we should be, telling us that money is a finite resource, that we have to fucking be slaves to a society, to a system which does not have our best interests at heart. This is not mental, right? It's not just a mental game. This is encoded into us on a cellular level. Our DNA has been fucking modified very tactically, and it is perpetuated with media, with stories, with projections, with other people's stuff, constantly projecting onto us this idea of lack, of scarcity, of panic, of fear, of stress. And then we wonder why we don't ever seem to have enough money to get us through to the end of the week, why we don't ever seem to have enough time to focus on ourselves, why we don't ever have enough fucking energy to show up for our creative projects or feel good or do what we want to do, right? Because we have been encoded for survival. The most basic human is encoded for survival. This is our limbic system. This is the reptilian brain. This is, we're encoded, the first chakra, right? The base, survival. if we do not have shelter, if we do not have food, if we do not have safety, then we're in survival. So we live in a world and a system that constantly puts us into situations where we feel like we do not have stability, we do not have holding, we do not have safety. And some of this fear or the perceived lack of safety is actually a story. It's not the truth. It is our nervous system getting activated because it's learnt so many fucking times that it isn't safe, that it can't relax, right? Because through our upbringing, through what we experienced as children, we're constantly on this fear alert that is telling us unsafe, 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 unsafe. Must contract, must hold on, must be in this state of panic and lack and like, where's the next thing coming? Where, what's going to happen in the future? What if, this doesn't happen? What if I never meet my person? What if I never find that job? What if I never find the living situation? Whatever the fuck it is, right? The stories we create about what could possibly go wrong. We're always scanning for a threat in our environment to anticipate what could go wrong. And we're so anchored on a cellular genetic level, which again, it's been intentionally implanted into us and coded into us to expect the fucking worst all the time, to just take what we can get because something better might not come along, to settle, to beg for scraps, to be complacent with what we have. That we are not actually in our natural state of being. Here it comes in my body, which is overflow, which is abundance, which is creativity, which is joy, which is overflowing with everything we need to not just survive, but thrive. So we have been coded in our cells to just survive. When you are just surviving, you do not have enough energy, enough mental capacity, enough space, enough motivation, enough safety to truly create what the fuck you came here to create, to explore the potentials for what you can create, to serve, to nourish others. When we are in survival, all we're fucking thinking about is, what can I create that's going to give me money, that's going to sell? What can I do to get out of this situation? What can I, mostly, so a lot of survival is about finances. It's about this physical reality. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, we live currently in a society that's dependent on money, right? Economy. So we can experience this thriving. Unless, of course, you want to go live off grid, on the land, off the land, right? Away from everything, and live this very grassroots, down to earth vibe. That's completely fucking amazing. But not all of us were encoded for this. Many of you listening to this were encoded to experience opulence and wealth. It's in your fucking DNA. You're here to embody wealth, not abundance. Abundance is nature. Wealth is overflow of resources, right? So you can build things. So you can build the fucking new earth, right? We're not going to build the new earth without resources to buy the bricks and make the temples and do what else, fix the injustices in our world, the environmental issues. At the moment, this stuff takes money, right? So some of you were not only encoded to personally thrive, but to receive so much provision and overflow that then that, let's just call it the resources, the provision, can go out into the world and fix what is wrong with our fucking broken world, right? Rebuild the structures and the systems.
If you cannot even put dinner on the fucking table for your family, or can't even, you don't even know where your rent is coming from next week, or you don't know how you're going to pay for your kids tuition or whatever it is, right? How are you expected to think bigger than your situation and what is immediate and in front of you now, right? How are you meant to help other people if you are not even able to help yourself right now, right? And this, again, is very tactical. We've been encoded with never having enough, never being able to exhale, always bracing, always fucking expecting the worst, always feeling contracted. So we don't remember what we're actually here to create, right? Because if we're remembering what we're here to create and we're remembering that our creations are limitless, then we don't need this fucking system because we realize we can create our own wealth outside of the system, right? Just going to take a second to let all the energy move and land. I want to say for so many of us, it's not like we go around the world in our day to day life intentionally feeling lack, intentionally feeling distrust, intentionally feeling scarcity. It is a holding pattern in our body, in our nervous system that will not allow us to experience anything else. I want you to feel that in your body. Feel where your chest maybe feels contracted. Feel where your shoulders are up high, tight, or you know, your back is in a way, or you've got muscle tightness, or whatever it is, you're clenching your jaw. Just notice in your body where there is tension, where there is holding, where there is bracing. Maybe you have certain pains or aches in your bodies or injuries, right? Your body's like literally dysfunctioning in a way that keeps you bracing, that keeps you, okay, well, if I hold on really tight and I squeeze everything and I don't take a fucking breath, then it's not going to hurt so much when I fall, right? Always anticipating, always waiting for the shoe to drop, always waiting. I just want you to exhale. I just want you to take a minute and just exhale. Because when you let go of all of that tension and fear and limitation that you've created in a physical way, it's manifested itself physically in your body. And your nervous system starts to regulate, your muscles start to release, loosen, the tension in your body drops. Your heart softens, your chest softens, your belly softens, your jaw loosens, right? You start to notice something else, and it's a gentle hum moving through your body. You may not notice it right now, and that's okay, but I invite you to start to notice in your body. You may feel this in your womb, or your energetic womb if you're a male, or don't have a physical womb if you're someone who doesn't have a physical womb for whatever reason. You may feel this in your feet, your toes, even in your chest, your fingers, and your hands. I just want you to notice what is there, what is present when you allow yourself to start to soften. I want you to notice the hum of life. moving through you, the energy moving through you. And as you notice this life moving through you, this energy moving through you, I invite you to start to feel what this may be emotional for some of you. I just want to say, because whenever I feel this, I cry because my body still has these memories of feeling so not fucking held, feeling so unable to just lean back, right? Feeling so unsupported, feeling so alone. I just want you to tune in and notice if you can feel, and you may not, and that's okay, that's perfect. You can allow yourself to start to see, sense, notice, or perceive that you're being held by something, someone. And if you can, just imagine that you can lean back a little bit more. You can let go just a little bit more. And I want you to see, sense, notice, or perceive that there is a pillar or a rod or a column in your back. It feels like a metallic spine, maybe, something very strong, which holds you upright. You're not having to do this holding for yourself, but there is a force, a presence, and energy holding you upright. Providing a backbone, a support for you to lean into a little bit deeper. Just notice what your feminine, and again, this is energetic. I don't care what sex you are, we all have a feminine energy. It's our creative energy, it's our life force energy, it's our abundance, it's our soul, our spirit. Oh, notice what this does to your physiology. You may want to yawn here. And I'm inviting each of you to gently command your nervous system now to come into a rest and relax. It is safe for me for 2 minutes or the rest of this podcast or the rest of the day, whatever feels good for you, to take this minute for myself to lean back into this pillar holding me and put down the part of me who always needs to hold everything for 5 seconds, to disarm him or her, and allow myself to just be held. Again, I don't care what gender you are, leaning into that support and just allowing your nervous system now to reharmonize itself with this force. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want to call it. That is always holding us, that is always supporting us, that is always providing for us. And this is the masculine pillar of God, right? The father, which many people have a lot of shit around because of religion and the patriarchy. But I just want you to find the father, find the embrace of the father, find what that solid pillar feels like to lean into. That direction, that structure, that holding, that truth that you are so fucking held. And as you lean into that a little bit more, just allowing your nervous system to harmonize and calibrate, and commanding in the field, all the nervous systems now are calibrating to this energy, harmonizing to this energy. each of us has within us a trinity. And it's funny, if you look at the video, I'm sitting in a triangle, a golden triangle, if that. Been in my branding for many, many years before I even knew what the trinity was, right? And if you look at Christian texts, the trinity is present. It's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Personally, and when I look to Gnostic texts, it's the Father, the child, and the mother, right? The divine mother, the divine father, the divine child. This is not an ideology. This is not a belief system. This is not an identity. This is our nature. This is our scaffolding. This is what we come from, what we are made of. It is in ourselves, beneath all of that coding, beneath all of the centuries and thousands of years, millennia of scarcity and suffering and programming and ancestral shit. It exists within us as a geometry, this trinity, the Holy Father, the Holy Mother, and the Holy Child. It exists within us. It is not outside of us. And there is nothing we actually need to do to, oh, here it comes, to awaken this within us, except for remember that it was always there, right? You do not need to heal to be worthy of this. You don't need to earn more to be worthy of this. You don't need to do more to be worthy of this. This is who you fucking are. It is innate. It is within us. I don't care what you've done with your life, what you intend to do with your life, who you've been, who you've not been, what fucking role you decided to play, what your temperament is like, right? How you choose to spend your time, who you pretend to, all of this identity level shit. I don't fucking care who you are or where you're from. This is within us all, right? All of us have this same innate coding structure within us, deep within us, buried within us, under layers of bullshit. And all we need to do is remember it, right? Divinity within us. The divine Father is the pillar which holds us upright, right? It's that spine. And I did the divine Father today, a little bit of it, not even, I touched on it, because that's the one that I've been really leaning into lately. Because for me, that makes the biggest impact in my life, because I'm already very much embodying a fully expressed feminine energy. But depending on where you're at in your journey, what you've experienced, what your sex is, what you've been focusing on with the healing or whatever, where the distortions are, you may have one which is more pronounced or more in its divine form than the others. Like you're more, it's not that it's more divine, it's just it's more prevalent in your life, you're more connected to it, it's more active, right? These are pillars within us. Think of it as like a scaffolding within us. There's three legs to this scaffolding. So one may be more stable than the others. My divine mother's pretty fucking good. Doesn't take me long to get back into the energy of, I'm going to speak to what that is in a second. But the divine father, a lot of women, particularly oracles, most women have this, we have this struggle to connect to the father, particularly religiously, God, right? Big G. I wrote a whole fucking book about this. Please go read that book. It is epic. It will, if this is resonating, that book will definitely get you vibing with the father, the divine father aspect, the big G aspect. We find it really hard to allow ourselves to be fully held and feel how held we are. So we look to men, to our fathers, to ourselves, even in our wounded masculine, with our wounded masculine shield, our inner protector, to feel that holding, to feel that direction, to feel that support, right? Men don't have men holding divine masculine energy to look up to, so they don't even feel this within themselves. Or they maybe had a father who was absent, or a father who was wounded in some way, right? They never felt what this clear direction and structure and provision and backbone, this spine feels like. We don't need other people to bring us back to what this feels like. It's something internally which all of us can feel by going to the Creator, by going to God, by going to our inner masculine, our own sacred masculine energy. So when this part of us is active, we feel fully held to create, right? We feel protected. We're not looking over our shoulder every 5 fucking seconds saying, are they going to abandon me? Or what if this happens? Or what if that happens? Or I don't know what to focus on. I'm all over the fucking place. I don't know where to put my creative energy. I'm scattered. I don't have motivation. I don't have purpose to get me up in the fucking morning, right? I'm struggling. I'm not thriving because I don't have the provision to do what I came here to do. The divine mother aspect is the nurturing, the nourishing element, the one who holds us in tenderness. If you think of a mother, she's here to nurture her children. She's a giver of life. When our feminine pillar is out, we're really not tapped into our intuitive nature. We're out of harmony with the earth. We're out of harmony with abundance itself. The feminine, Mother Earth, is creation. It is literally, it is abundance because it's Mother Earth and it's limitless abundance too. Having this pillar online enables us to create freely from joy, from this just fucking turns me on and I'm going to create it because it feels good to create it. And that's all I want to do, right? Creating from overflow, from service, from like devotion, right? Then you have the child, the divine child, which is when these two forces come together. Something else is created in us. We become that child held by the mother and the father that we never fucking had, whose innocence, whose curiosity, whose I don't give a fuck what I say and how I act, you know, based on societal expectations or what people are going to think or say. Think about children, right? They have no filters. They don't give a shit. They're playing and they are willing to say some unhinged shit to an adult's face because they don't give a fuck. They'll walk straight up to that person and speak their mind because they haven't learned or been imprinted that is wrong. You know, you have to be accepted, you have to fit in, you have to belong. A child's imagination is the most incredible thing in this world. And when that child is active within us, because it feels safe, it feels nourished, feels nurtured, it also feels held, it has the boundaries, the protection that it needs, then it is pure magic. It is childlike wonder and awe. It is, whoa, I wonder what I can dream up and create. And I don't care. I'm no attachment to the outcome. I'm just playing, right? Your creations get to come from joy. It's like, what could I experience in this world? It's innocence. It's letting go of the jaded life is so fucking hard. I'm suffering all the time and seeing the world through the eyes of a child, which is just in awe of every single thing because it's like every single thing is the first time you ever experienced it. We cannot be in a state of awe and wonder and excitement and play if we are stuck in survival, if we're just trying to scrape by and make it in this world, which is harsh, right? If we're putting our faith in systems and structures outside of ourselves, like our employer or the banks or the fucking government, the patriarch, whatever, right? Our partner. If we're putting our foundation in something outside of us, we're always going to be inherently waiting, just waiting to be dropped or disappointed or, you know, thrown a curveball that we have to deal with. But when we place our foundation in this Trinity, this force within us, right, which is derived by something much bigger than us, the force that created literally fucking everything, including yourself. What we can create from that place is limitless, right? The miracles that will abound to align shit for you are beyond this material realm and its parameters, right? If you, again, I wouldn't say that I am Christian. I very strongly connect to Gnostic Christianity. However, there are some very beautiful examples in the Bible of miracles, right? Alchemy, the alchemies done in God's name. This is the creator's name, right? This is the Holy Father. But again, we're not going to get into schematics around this. We're just going to keep it at this level so as not to like put you off with any religious stuff. Miracles become possible when you tap into the truth of your nature, which is this fundamental truth that there is no lack. There is no such thing as impossibility. This is fucking miraculousness. And it is not reserved for those who manifested harder or who did all the fucking healing work and therefore they deserve it, right? Or for whatever, right? Whatever parameters you want to put on who this is and who this isn't for. It's not even like because you're a good person, you are worthy of this. This is law. This exists no matter who the fuck you are and what you were doing, because it is your nature, right? And yes, of course, when you are doing things that are in harmony with the all of life, with the greatest good of all, this force really amps up and it accelerates things for you because the universe desires expansion. It desires homeostasis. It desires to keep building and creating. So when you're creating from this like me-centric, very limited place, well, that doesn't allow for a lot of expansion to the whole, right? So it's just like you don't have to be like, how can I serve? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. Right? It's not really about that if you want to be fucking brutally honest. Personally, I think it's important for us to serve something higher than ourselves and ask, hey, how can I use this creative energy moving through me to serve something bigger than myself? Because I know ultimately that will fulfill me more because what is good for the whole is good for me because I am the whole, right? So it's just like fucking a no-brainer. But really, the truth of the matter is it doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. Like, this is why, and I've seen this, and this is something that I've seen. When you see a really selfish, shitty person, and I'm using inverted commas if you can't see the video, what you perceive to be a very selfish, self-centered, self-absorbed human go become very wealthy using, for instance, manifestation techniques, right? And your little self-righteous self gets so fucking pissed off, and you're like, but what are they doing for anyone else? The truth is, that person simply believes that they are worthy. That is the only difference between you and them, is that they don't have a whole bunch of like guilt and shit of like, I must keep myself small and not receive this, or I must be humble and good. And if I want things, then I'm an asshole, and all these fucking stories that we're like told, these identities that we have to wear of a good little spiritual woman who doesn't ask for much because no, God wants me to be broke. Fucking bullshit, right? That person has none of that shit. And this law responds to them because they're like, well, I'm a creator. I'm a create whatever the fuck I want, even if it's just for me. The truth of the matter is the divine God creation doesn't want any of us to be stuck in survival, right? Doesn't. Like, we create that for ourselves. We create the limitations for ourselves by creating the idea of some God or some creator who is out there judging us based on what we're asking for. And is that a selfish desire, or is that does me having a Lamborghini serve the greatest good of all? No. So God's not going to let me have it because, like, this is just, it's our human brains that are creating this. God doesn't fucking give a fuck, right? the creator of all the universe doesn't care what we desire. There's no desire that's like too basic, too human, too selfish. We can have whatever we want to have. It's not about that. And that's the difference between the person who you perceive as being a selfish asshole who doesn't give a fuck and is wealthy. Like they crack the code. And the code being we can have whatever we want. It's us who places the limitations because of this programming within us telling us we're not worthy, we're not good enough, we're always going to be in lack, right? We can't have. Deprivation becomes our norm. We just deprive ourselves fucking naturally because it's all we know, right? Maybe that person just grew up in an environment where they weren't deprived. Maybe they decided I was deprived as a child and I'm never going to experience that again. So they created that because they fucking decided I will never be deprived again. I will never accept that as my reality. Does it matter what they want to spend that? Like, I mean, ideally, it's great to have people who want to benefit others. They want to make this world a better place because it's selfish assholes who turn the world into the place that it is. However, no judgment, right? So this is one of the issues I see with this space. Like we judge ourselves so harshly. We judge our desire for nice things or opulence or feeling good or I just want to fucking create this thing that I'm creating just for the sake of my joy, right? Who told you that that wasn't a worthy reason to create something? Your joy, your pleasure, your just feeling good. Like I bought myself these sheets the other day for no reason. Like I didn't need them. I just really wanted them because when I get in them, it feels nice on my legs. I look at them and I'm like, oh, that desire, me having nice sheets, has fucking nothing to do with who I'm serving or how I'm serving or is it going to improve my work output? No, I sleep in these sheets. However, do they put me and give me a sensory experience that makes me connect to my innate pleasure, my innate joy, my innate opulence that is encoded within me because I am the daughter of the king of the fucking universe, just like you, daughters and sons of the king of the universe, right? If you start thinking about yourself as like, I am a daughter or a son or the child of God, right? God. Does God want you to sleep in some scratchy motherfucking sheets and deprive yourself of joy? If, like, just put this into, like, I just for your brain, right? Let's think about the child of a monarch, right? The child of a king or a oligarch or a whatever. Not that we have a lot of this in our day and age, but this is still real in many countries, right? The child of that person, of that royal person, doesn't have to ask for nice shit. It's like a given. They're going to get some nice fucking sheets. They don't have to earn it. They don't have to do anything. They just receive it. They receive this opulence based on their birth inheritance, right? It's their birthright. What if I fucking told you your inheritance and your birthright wasn't just a monarch or an oligarch or whatever king? It was the creator of all things. That is wealth that is unbound. That is resources that are unbound. That is creative capabilities that are unbound. If you think about how much different the life of a prince or a princess or even a king or a queen in our day and age would be, having access to those resources and that support and that like staff waiting on you and I want that and I can have it and I can get it on a jet plane and go wherever I need to go and I can hire this person. Like there's no limit for them. Their life is much more, I mean, there's lots of limits on them for like who they're expected to be and all that shit, of course. Like we're not getting into that, but I mean like wealth affords us the opportunity to have a much more like expanded life. We have more choice, right? We have more available to us when we have money versus like, well, I can't do that because I don't have money to do that. I can't live in this area because I don't have the funds for that. Like I can't eat what I want to eat because those strawberries are $5 more than those straw or whatever, example you want to use. What I'm trying to say in comparison, so if you imagine being of royal blood, the kind of life that opens you up to, and now imagine that your parents We're not the king and queen of England or Monaco or wherever. I don't even know if Monaco has, there we go, somewhere in Europe. I'm sure they still have that. Russia. Your parents, your father, your mother were the creators of the fucking universe. Just let that like land and drop because it's the truth, right? You don't have to do anything to earn those sheets, that wealth, that space to yourself, that protection, provision, whatever it is. You are royal in inheritance. We are all royal in inheritance because we were made of the divine. So why the fuck are you allowing yourself to continue to experience lack and suffering and limitation and breadcrumbs? If you knew and you truly believed and felt on the deepest level and radiated and created from the place of I am God's child, child of the king of the universe, queen of the universe, whatever you want to fucking call it, right? I am of divine inheritance. What would you no longer tolerate, right? The title of this video is You Came Here Because You're Ready for More. Because you're ready to hear this. The only lack and limitation that is being experienced in your world is because somewhere along the line you forgot, right? That's it. It's just you forgot. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not doing it wrong. You're not good enough at healing. You're not. I'm so done with this fucking dialogue of you need to dig a little bit more. You need to find the. No, all you need to fucking do is come out of your amnesia and remember what you always have been, right? So somewhere in your cells, you're still holding on to this fucking lie that lack is real, that you can't have. You're not allowing yourself to experience more for whatever story, whatever reason, whatever like validity it gives your character, or what you're trying on an ego level to portray, or what soul contract you think that you're playing out to keep yourself in deprivation. And I know that one because I kept myself in fucking deprivation for a really long time, saying, oh, it's my soul contract to experience this so I can toughen the fuck up and become a leader. And yes, of course it was that. But now at this level, I'm like, well, it all got me here to realize that actually I get to cancel those fucking contracts because they don't really serve me, right? They don't really serve, it doesn't really serve me to go through the world in fucking lack where I can't even exhale and I can't create. So, beautiful souls. My invitation for you today is to remember the truth of who you are and imagine what you could create from a place you were fully provided for, fully held, fully supported, fully loved. You didn't have any of this shitty baggage that you've been carrying around that makes you feel like you're not worthy, or people will fucking, I will lose love if I have what I want, or, you know, I can't be loved because it's terrifying. And if I am loved, I will be dropped. I will be disappointed. I will be hurt, right? I just want everyone to remember for 1 second what is true, what is real, what is within you. So that is my transmission, turned into a bit of a rant today. Yeah, I'm still recording. But that's what I want everyone to remember. And it takes sometimes practice to keep bringing ourselves back. Like I find I go into these mental spirals a lot. It's all the air in my chart where I forget how fucking supported I am. So I like go into panic for a little. My nervous system contracts, and then I have to like spend a day getting back into like my flow, getting back into my body, getting back into the truth that I'm infinitely divinely supported and held all the fucking time without condition, even when I'm doing absolutely fucking nothing and being a potato because I need to rest, right? Rest is a divine requirement, right? It is part of it. On Sunday, the seventh day of the week, what did God do? He rested, right? It is part of nature. It is just innate. It is who we are. So if you feel like you need to rest right now because you can feel everything that's coming in this year, for many of us, it's going to be a big leap year. Good. If you're not feeling creative right now, good. Rest. Rest is, you don't have to earn it, right? It is divinely given to us. I think I got everything. If this has resonated, please read Big G Energy. I am also running it's not even, I'm not going to call it a program. It's not a healing thing. It is a template recalibration called Trinity. Whoa, forgot it for a second. It's a 6 week journey. It's a transmission, 6 weeks. It's all it is just straight transmissions to just clear all of this distortion in your feminine, masculine, and child pillars and recalibrate you to the divine DNA that is already within you, right? This calibration, this frequency, this structure. So you can move and create like the woman who is fucking supported by God. Like every single creation, every single desire, every single thing she wants to dream of or create is ordained by God because it is, right? So this is where we stop settling for crumbs. This is where we stop looking outside for validation, for permission, for oh, spirit guides, hand me my business plan, right? It's like, no, we choose what we want to create and we just fucking know that it's going to be done, right? This is what this offering is about. It is template correction. It's going to be very different from everything else that I have offered in the past because it's not going to be a lot of teaching. It's going to be just, like I said, template correction. So, sort of what we did today, but on a much deeper level, cellularly, just clearing out all of those things that we hold in ourselves, right? Really, that's all it is. That is it, beautiful souls. Mwah. I love you. Also, actually, I'm going to add on here, just because maybe you don't know this about me unless you've gone on my website or you're friends with me on social media, then you would have seen this. I also have been focusing again on doing a lot of marketing stuff. So I have a agency called Mystica Marketing, and knowing me and listening to me, you would know by now that I am not a normal fucking muggle. Like I do everything that I do in a very divine, very heart led, very intuitive oracle way. So I create websites for visionaries, funnels, even book covers, Instagram layouts, branding, logos, all of that, copy. I've been doing this for years. I've been doing it very on the down low. Like I haven't been advertising it because writing my books and pilgrimaging and sacred sites and all of these things have been more important. This podcast, right? They've kind of like been the focus for me, right? Where my creative energy wanted to go. But I have loved doing this and I've done it for many, many years now, supporting other visionaries, leaders, to give them the scaffolding, the structure energetically and physically. So in the form of websites, funnels, that sort of thing, so they can expand. So while energetically we're still doing this work in Trinity with the physical, the DNA, internal energetic scaffolding, if you are ready and you have some sort of missioned business, right? You're a healer, a soul worker, a visionary, an oracle, a shaman, whatever you want to call it, a coach, you are here to help others, or you have this purpose that you know you're encoded for, and you're ready to expand with systems and structures that actually hold you and translate your essence across. So they like are that structure that is required for your vision in a way that is really suited to you. Because I know a lot of marketing people who have burnt a lot of people because they're just jamming people into, well, this funnel structure fucking works. And I've seen that it's worked, but you're a visionary, right? And your soul has a plan of like what actual scaffolding it needs to expand. So obviously it didn't work. So then you spent 20 grand and you got burnt, right? This is what I see. So many people come to me and they're like, fuck, Beck, like I just wasted $20,000, literally 20. This is how much this stuff costs. 20 grand on a website and it's a piece of shit and it doesn't even get across my frequency. And I've had to redo it from the whole beginning because this person didn't feel me at all, right? And so then they're burnt and they're like, well, I can't trust anyone. And I know I need these things, these like tangible 3D physical things on the internet to help bring people to me. I need the structures, I need the systems to support me so I can keep serving, right? And expand. But I don't have someone who like sees my genius and feels my soul. Beautiful soul, this is what I do. I create from your soul blueprint. I channel your frequency, your essence, and I code it through all of the websites, funnels, book covers, branding, whatever it is that needs to be and wants to be created through you. I've done some very, very, very high level, expansive. I had one project and I swear to God, she did this like she had this school of Reiki, and it was, I think there was like 10 different landing pages I created within one funnel structure, going out to her email list, and like all these emails and automations and back end things set up. And she had been avoiding scaling and automation and systems on the back end, which is masculine, by the way, for a really long time, because she knew innately that's what she needed to expand. But she wanted to, for some fucking reason, stay small and hidden. So I came along and I helped her. We amplified her field. Being in my frequency obviously amplified her into her gifts even deeper. She cried when she saw the website for the first time. This happens a lot with people who come into these projects because they've never felt so fucking felt, right? So this is what is offering. I'm taking on one more this month in January, client for some form of marketing visionary director. I'm calling myself a visionary director these days because I like that title. Why the fuck not? Project. So if that's you and you're ready to not just have a website or a funnel or a book cover or whatever the project is, some funky branding, but you're ready to really translate on an energetic level who the fuck you are and what you came here to do. So you are calling in the people who are like, boom, I feel that, right? I want that. That is a person I'm here for. Please hit me up, shoot me an email, go onto my website. There is a place where you can fill out a form. And now my rant is officially over. I love you all. Stay safe. And until next time, beautiful souls.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Cracked Open. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend if this episode has served you in any way. For more information about the work that I do or to get in touch with me, read the show notes or head to beckmylonas.com. Until next time, beautiful soul.